what's happening? Welcome to another video upload from Aspie with Attitude. If you're watching this for the first time, my name is David. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I have autism, I have speech difficulty, speech impairment, and a speech impairment, and Asperger's syndrome, and that's why I call myself an Aspie. And now, welcome to another video upload from Aspie with Attitude. And what I'll be doing for this video is going to be one hell of an important life hack discussing what goes on the internet. Because this is probably going to be a pretty dark kind of video upload that I'm doing. And at the same time though, I really like to have a serious discussion once this comes to using the internet and social media and other people who use these kind of devices like the internet and social media these days. So like I'll be talking about cyber bullies and pretty much throughout the video content just describe who they are, what they do and what their intentions are. And first off, I do have one basic term you'll need to understand for starters, which is a word called trolling. Your first idea about trolls, if you've never heard of trolling being the internet and a social media term, like probably for trolls you heard from fantasy stories and mythology, whether it could be from Lord of the Rings, and just to let you know, it's actually nothing like them, and actually all thanks to the internet and social media, at least you learned that trolls do indeed exist, and they do not have hairs going upwards like those troll dolls from the early 1990s, ones that you used to buy from gift stores and put on your desk as ornaments. Well, it's just some internet users who will have a fake identity and do not pose as a real person in the real world when away from all digital technology, which I'm talking about whether it's the internet, social media, computers, phones or iPads. Any forms of digital communication technology these days, since that social media is a mass media pretty much in the 2020s. And those type of trolls that I'm describing here, all these trolls do is they'll just pick their victim, they'll only start making abusive posts only to hope that their recipient or their victims has a big reaction. And the sort of reaction I'm talking about is just like replying, just really want to fight back on these people, trying to protest that they're wrong. Well, anyway, that's how the trolls have their reaction. It's from their victims or their recipient that they're targeting, and this becomes their pickings, and the trolls will take it just from there on. This could be about anything, and you'll rarely know who the person is, and you'll rarely know where they live. And it's always highly unlikely you'll ever meet the person in real life. And I'm talking about those people who want to bully you are just going to hide behind the computers, and it's almost like they can just pretty much wear this and they can actually abuse you, make lies about you, and just anything particular that actually represents bullying. And I'm talking about they can make all sorts of threats, and there could be death threats being made, and it will never be the one troll acting alone. And this can be done in groups, posing as one person, and even one troll could have multiple social media accounts, posing as a group, which is operated by the one person, pretty much to hide the numbers. Like if you've seen The New Hope, and pretty much like the same people, if you remember the scene on Tatooine when Obi-Wan Kenobi says the same people always hide their numbers by marching single files. So anyway, I'll just better take this off then. So like the internet common term for cyber bullies will be known as trolls. Yeah, and that's what I mean by all this. And most of these trolls are very cunning they're very smart, and some could be very manipulative in such a way that, as I explained back in 194, when I talk about what manipulation is, and they'll just do anything, and they'll feed or prey on any reactions from their victims that they're cyberbullying. Once patrols get their way with a victim they're cyberbullying, they can be known as keyboard warriors. To take the opportunity to explain what keyboard warriors are, they're just another type of trolls who think they're the heroes on the internet, and pretty much it's all about trying to save the day by ruining the day of a victim who's actually being cyberbullied and putting a crossfire of some cyber wars that one person or multiple people might have started just on a person that they want to attack. And now, once this comes to YouTube blogging and me run this Autistic YouTube creator channel, which I have been since the 26th of May 2018, is that each and every YouTube creators each have a target on their backs. And also I'm going to be mindful, since you're watching the Autistic YouTube creator channel Aspie with Attitude, even other people on the autism spectrum may troll or cyberbully another autistic individual who's actually doing their own thing. Individuals who are more vulnerable are the easier targets than those who are wise with the use of social media. And those who are very vulnerable and easily disturbed, sometimes they could actually be like sitting ducks. Well, once again, those trolls are just very smart and cunning, and once they choose their victim, they'll want from them is just a reaction. And those who are smart with the use of social media are most likely to ignore the trolls who are sort of like writing up any nasty posts on the internet user in their pickings. So like, this doesn't stop the trolls in its path. There are plenty who would act frustrated if they do not get any reactions from their target they've picked, and perhaps when you ignore them, they'll eventually find somebody else who's more vulnerable and more easier to cyberbully. Some can be determined to have their reactions from their victims that they're trying to troll. If they're ignored, fallen to deaf ears, it's likely they're just going to move on. And there's always a saying on social media or using the internet, do not feed the trolls. Reacting to these posts is feeding the trolls. Internet users who cyberbully usually remains anonymous. It's kind of like wearing this Guy Fawkes mask, like what I'm wearing now, and you can just see how you don't see my face. That's what it's exactly like. The person who is cyberbullying their victim are just gonna sort of like hide on their line behind their monitors, and they'll just have the keyboard at their fingertips, doing whatever they want. And there's always several ways that they can put the internet user down, just like as I'm going to put this mask down now. Once patrols get more than what they want from their victims, their cyberbullying, it's almost that the victim had engaged in some sort of cyber warfare. It's always that the victim would never know where the troll actually lives in real life. The troll that's cyberbullying could be living overseas, and could be living in a country where there's a civil war, or just some country that nobody ever talks about. And they could just post that he or she, as an internet user, is living in the same city where the victim lives, while it turns out that a victim will probably be living in some other country. Well, in the end of the day, it's most likely that the victim can become a cyberbully themselves once the sources becomes unknown and things just get out of hand. And even victims who are cyberbullied had committed suicide, and it's left the trolls assuming that their victim had cancelled, deleted or shut down their own social media accounts and maybe no longer using social media or the internet, and probably not realising that the victim of cyberbullying is dead. And before I finish this one off, like, if you ever receive anything that looks like trolling, I suggest you do not react to it, and this will be disturbing once you read through the post that's directed at you, and it's all at first glance, and once it's ignored, this is most likely to remain as a source. And what I mean by remaining as a source is where the cyberbullying begins, and if it's ignored, it'll finish before it even begins. And it's most likely, though, without your reaction, it's only going to become more difficult for the troll to cyberbully you, making you the very hard target. And sometimes though, like, you'll have to be very abusive and threatening some of these posts. And what I mean by thick skin is, the thick skin means you're very resistant to feeling a bit disturbed or very stunned for what's already being written across your monitor or across your phone. And any suspicious comments or replies can pose as a bait, allowing any trolls to expect a reaction from you or anyone who comments to maybe to defend that internet user. And while the internet user's doing the right thing, just ignoring this troll. And it's just common sense though, you just do not feed the trolls at all. So like, I don't intend to make it a very long video, and if you really like what I'm doing here and you want to show more support for this channel, all I ask for in terms into supporting my channel is if you please subscribe to Aspie with Attitude, the YouTube channel that you're watching right now. And also, you can ring this notification bell if you wish to keep up to date with Aspie with Attitude. And also, please like and share this video content with your friends, with your family, and with other autistic groups. And yeah, cyberbullying is always a very serious issue once it comes to YouTubing, especially being an autistic YouTube creator. And I'm going to have the knowledge that a lot of people do, for some silly reason, don't like autistic individuals. Well, anyway, just the way the world is. So like, the way I always finish this one off is with the use of a fidget spin nose trick. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening to Aspie with Attitude, and I hope you learned a lot from what I was saying here. Peace and respect, and see you next time.